Messages from Shaltazar. Your difference is not a disorder. Greetings, dear ones. We are Shaltazar, the Gavish Banenu, the energy of 33, the Master Teacher, and the energy of 44, the Master Healer. You are living within a powerful threshold of change, dear ones, a moment where unseen currents are stirring both within you and across your world. Something ancient is reawakening, inviting all that has been hidden, suppressed, or misunderstood to rise into view. Diversity is no longer willing to remain quiet, while an old world, shaped by rigid structures and inherited norms, tightens its grip in an attempt to preserve what once felt stable. The inner and outer tension moves through schools and systems, through families and relationships, and even through the words humanity uses to describe the mind, the body, and identity itself. Standing at this threshold, the old world seeks clean labels and simple answers because it believes control equals safety. It was taught that predictability prevents chaos and that sameness ensures survival. Yet the soul does not evolve through control, nor does it awaken through conformity. The soul evolves by bringing forth diversity into the human world, by expressing itself in countless forms and awakening through the lived experience of that expression. Across your world, society constantly labels and defines human beings by how they think, feel, learn, love, and express themselves. From the moment a child enters a system, they are measured against an invisible idea of what is typical. Yet the human being was never designed to be typical. Normal is not a spiritual truth. It is a social agreement born of fear and misunderstanding. Gently and almost unnoticed at first, the focus of control has drifted inward toward the mind itself, a relatively recent shift in the human story. This inward gaze did not replace society's long-standing fixation on physical normality, but added to it. For generations, humanity judged bodies by appearance, ability, and conformity, and now the same controlling gaze has expanded, attempting to define what should be considered normal, not only for the body, but for the mind itself. Pause here, dear ones, and feel that. The mind is measured as though it were a machine, calibrated to one correct setting. Yet the mind is an instrument of perception, shaped by biology, environment, trauma, sensitivity, intelligence, intuition, and the timing of evolution itself. Some minds filter the world, others receive it all at once. Some move through logic, others through pattern and depth. And it is often this depth that allows genius to emerge. And yes, dear one, sometimes those differences come with real challenges in a world that is loud, synthetic, rushed, and built upon constant stimulation. Yet do not confuse this world is poorly designed for sensitivity with sensitivity is wrong. Do not confuse a system is outdated with a child is broken. This is where humanity has been wounding itself for generations. A child walks into a school system that cannot truly see them, and instead of adapting, the system demands conformity. An employee brings creativity, sensitivity, or independent thinking into the workplace and is told that they are too much, too slow, too emotional, or not a team player. A child overwhelmed by noise, pressure, or constant stimulation is labeled disruptive or lazy. An adult whose mind works differently is praised for productivity only until they burn out, shut down, or no longer fit the expected mold, at which point they are deemed difficult, dysfunctional, or deficient. And what happens next is predictable. You have seen it. You have lived it. When the world repeatedly tells a being that they are wrong, the being begins to hide. They mask, conform, abandon their instincts, and disconnect from emotion, body, and truth, because none of these ever felt safe. This is not only the story of minds that function differently, dear ones, or of beings whose nervous systems perceive the world through a wider or more sensitive lens. This is the story of humanity. You are all recovering from versions of this. Some of you were shaped by schools, religions, parental fear, cultural rules, trauma, neglect, addiction, or a world that taught you to be productive instead of present. And now, here you are in the era of awakening, where what has been hidden is being revealed. Many of you feel overwhelmed as diversity confronts old structures all at once. Differences in identity, nervous systems, learning, communication, and ways of living. The old world struggles to hold this, so it labels it, diagnoses it, politicizes it, shames it, and turns it into conflict. But we invite you to widen your perspective. Take a breath. What if these differences are not a breakdown, but an unfolding? What if what you are calling neurodiversity is not merely a problem to be managed, but a living sign that humanity is evolving beyond a narrow bandwidth of perception? What if the sensitivity that feels overwhelming is actually a fine-tuned awareness in a world that has grown too loud? What if the minds that struggle with rigid schedules and narrow expectations are designed to see possibilities others overlook? What if the difficulty fitting into existing systems is not a personal failure, but a signal that those systems are ready to change? What if some of the very traits that make a being struggle in your current systems are the traits that will help humanity build new systems? We leave you with these questions, dear ones, not to overwhelm you, but to invite reflection and self-compassion as you move through your own experience of difference. And from this reflection, we invite gentle action. Begin by meeting yourself with greater kindness, then allow that kindness to shape how you listen, how you speak, and how you respond when you encounter difference in others. Choose curiosity instead of judgment. Choose presence instead of fear. Choose love even when it feels unfamiliar. As you do this, remember this truth: your difference is not a disorder. It is not something to be fixed, erased, or explained away. It is a unique expression of life, learning itself through you. This is how change moves through the world, not all at once, but through countless small, conscious choices made in ordinary moments. We bring you this message from a place of love. Our love for you is everlasting and unconditional. May you remember that what has made you feel different, misunderstood, or out of place is not a flaw to be corrected, but an expression of the soul learning itself in form. As you soften towards yourself and live this compassion outwardly, you help create a world where difference is no longer feared, but honored, and where love becomes the foundation for a new humanity.